The coronavirus pandemic continues to make headlines as confirmed infections soar into the millions and hundreds of thousands of individuals succumb to the disease. Hello, I'm Justin Gick.
And I'm Nick Palayo. There is no shortage of stories to cover in our season premiere, our first virtually produced season, as the United States faces a presidential election year and LaSalle makes the decision to conduct a fully virtual fall 2020 semester. This is LTV News. The big story on LTV News is the devastating effect the COVID-19 pandemic continues to have on the public health and global economy. But first, we turn to breaking news out of LaSalle. On Thursday, August 20th, the university community received an email from President Colleen Hanich announcing that the university has decided to, quote, deliver the fall 2020 semester almost entirely through remote instruction. As a result, on-campus housing will be closed to students who will not physically return to campus beginning on August 27th as originally hoped. President Hanich, in her address, acknowledged #Explorers Return, LaSalle's return to campus plan months in the making, as the university's well-intentioned and detailed effort to bring the community back to 20th and Olney. Despite such efforts, a number of factors, including a lack of downward trending COVID-19 case counts, positivity rates, and transmission rates in the Philadelphia area, delays in testing and contact tracing, and concerning reports of college students across the nation ignoring public health guidance, rules, and recommendations, necessitated the decision. In the coming weeks, students will be reimbursed for any room and board fees paid out for the current semester. In addition, a number of campus services will continue in a virtual setting. The Center for Academic Achievement and Career Services will still be offering virtual academic support and professional development offerings. The Basket, LaSalle's on-campus food pantry, will remain open. The Connolly Library will continue to offer research assistance to students. The Campus Activity Center and Late Night LaSalle will offer a number of virtual activity opportunities for student entertainment and socialization. And the Student Counseling Center will continue to provide telecounseling, wellness, and meditation services. If anyone in the LaSalle community has questions about this most recent decision, they are advised to visit the FAQ found on the university's COVID-19 webpage or complete a feedback form also found on that page.
Over the summer, the Career Center hosted a webinar series entitled Career Readiness from Your Couch. The series offered a new professional development topic each week and allowed students and recent graduates to gain knowledge, develop skills, and embrace opportunities for success after LaSalle. Topics covered included preparing graduates for a job search amid COVID-19 and dealing with internship cancellations. The Career Center says it provided these opportunities so students would feel more confident in successfully launching their careers. I'm going to introduce our co-anchor, Erin Holly. Erin, can you believe what's going on, that we're going to be virtually online doing classes this semester at LaSalle?
No, it's so disappointing. Yesterday when I received that email that we're not moving in anymore, my heart just dropped. Everything's going to be so different this semester.
Now, did you think we were going to be online this entire time, or were you? Because I was holding out hope. I was being the optimist, saying we're going to go back, we can do it, but I think this is the right decision to make.
It's always good to try to be optimistic and to hope for the best, but I feel like we all knew in the back of our heads that this was just still an option because so much uncertainty right now.
Right. And I also think too, I was being optimistic at first. Like I thought like this summer we would kind of start seeing like drops in cases, but as we saw with like Villanova and others, kids were not, doing the masks and the social distancing. And, Dr. Hanich really had, a difficult decision, I think, on her hand, but ultimately I think this was the right one for our staff and our students.
Yeah, it's all for our safety. Of
course.
So
right.
We can just cross our fingers and hope and pray for a safe school year in 2021.
Yes.
Right. Now, I do know that experimentation still was happening this year, still was online, and Sam had a chance to talk, right, Aaron?
Yeah, so for the last few years, the Experientation program has helped incoming freshmen adjust to life at LaSalle. Producer Sam Long had the chance to interview one of this year's senior Experientation leaders, Josh Warner, to learn more about what went into preparing this year's virtual Experientation. Check it out.
Hello, everybody. We are back for another semester. Circumstances have changed. I'm not in the white chair. I'm not in the studio. Things look a little different today. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be our format for the whole semester. I'm Sam Long, your usual interview host, back at it again. Today, I'm sitting down. Not sitting down. I'm talking over the internet with Josh Warner, an Experientation leader at LaSalle. Now, most of you have probably heard of Experientation by now if you go to the school, but if you don't, Experientation is a welcome event for freshmen. But this year, things are looking a little different. With the semester now entirely online, things are changing up a little bit. The whole thing's going to have to be online this semester. So, what's going to happen? That's why I have Josh here with me. So, Josh, can you tell me what the biggest change is? I know you guys prepared all summer being ready to go back, and things just out of nowhere changed. So, tell me what's up with it.
So yeah, like you said, we had plans to try to have a mix of like in-person stuff that wasn't mandatory. So things from like passing out swag to the new students to just giving toys and stuff like that. And then having everything that was mandatory be online, just in case people weren't comfortable and stuff like that. And then we were gonna like do things during move-in, helping students like move in where we can. But with the school moving to online, like everything kind of just got nixed, especially this like late into the game, because we still had the like mindset like, okay, well, we'll still do these like very few virtual events, but when it went online, it kind of like rained on the parade, if you will. So
Now, you said that it happened so late into the game. Is everyone all hands on deck trying to sort it out fast before things start, or did you guys already kind of have a backup prepared just in case things went south? I know you said a lot was going to be scheduled online, but are you planning new events, or tell me what they're doing?
yeah, so I do know that they're trying to work with Late Night LaSalle to coordinate some type of like event that students can do, whether it's and it's going to be online. I do know that we're still doing some swag pass outs on campus, like in person for the people who are like commuters and stuff. But besides that, I think everything else is going to be online. So we're going to be working from the rest of this month and like probably the first half of September, trying to coordinate stuff with Late Night LaSalle and see if we can like do something for these incoming kids.
Yeah, so you said they were previously scheduled events online already. What kind of events did you have already planned out?
So one of them, which I believe is happening tonight, was virtual bingo. But another is like we were going to do virtual drop-ins, which was basically like an open forum for like incoming students to come ask us anything they want, because especially with like this being everyone's first time dealing with a situation like this, we're bound to have a lot of questions. And those were going to be like the virtual events that like we had going on this weekend, and then next weekend it would have been moving into the on-person stuff. But I believe that we're still doing some of them in some capacity, but I think they might be pushed back for as of right now.
Okay, I think a virtual forum is a great idea for students. I mean, everyone's kind of confused right now. We're all in the same boat, but at least they have some kind of foot ahead of everyone else just to figure out what's going on. So you said that the commuters are going to be getting some kind of on-campus swag. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so we had planned to do like a pass out for, usually when you come to LaSalle, you get a bunch of free stuff from Experientation. And the stuff's we already have the stuff, so we don't want to like have it go to waste, and like the masks and the t-shirts and like all the other like merchandise that we have for the students. So it would be like a disservice to them and a big waste of money for us if we didn't at some point try to hand it out. So I think this upcoming Monday we're doing a swag pass out where we'll have a table and we'll have people come in and hopefully practice social distancing, wearing the masks, and just give them some free stuff. It's not much, but it is something, and I feel like anyone who shows up, they'll appreciate what it is for what it is.
Now, I love free stuff. I love T-shirts. I love masks. I remember my orientation. I got 2 T-shirts. I was the happiest kid on earth, and then I realized college is just a lot of free T-shirts. It's great. So it sounds like things are going to be a whole lot different this semester. I'm sorry you guys had to lose everything you had planned at the last minute, but that's just the unfortunate reality of the situation. But there's always next year to plan for. I'm sure you guys will figure it out online.
Yeah, it does suck. And then, so I'm a senior, so this is my last hurrah. So I might not have a chance to do this again, but I did still enjoy it. It was fun to work and collaborate with other people to be SELs. I think that we should by next year be in good standing, fingers crossed, but hopefully this COVID situation blows over and this spring we can do something for the students.
Yeah, hopefully that'd be nice. All right, Josh, well, thank you so much for zooming in with me today. I'm going to send it back to the theoretical desk. Thanks.
Mayor Jim Kenney has announced that Tamar Alexander has been named Philadelphia's acting managing director, one of the most senior non-elected positions in city government. Alexander's appointment comes in the wake of current managing director Brian Abernathy's resignation. Abernathy, who is departing from the position on September 4th, has faced intense backlash over how the city handled the summertime protests ignited after the death of George Floyd. As acting managing director, Alexander will serve as the city's chief operating officer, responsible for all of the agencies that serve the people of Philadelphia. He is no stranger to City Hall, having previously served as deputy mayor and chief liaison to City Council in Mayor Michael Nutter's administration.
Over 1,000 homeless people sleep on the streets and sidewalks of Philadelphia every night, with shelters filled to capacity and many of them requiring couples and groups to separate. Stephanie Sina, an adjunct professor at Villanova University, developed a solution to address the city's homeless. She believes that by building a village of tiny houses, an approach that 6 other U.S. cities have used, Philly can cut down the number of people living on the street. Sina envisions that the tiny house community will be on an empty lot on Frankfort Avenue, where the houses will be safe, decent, and affordable, and where social workers will be available to guide residents. A previously implemented tiny house initiative in Seattle has been hailed a success, where today about 325 people live in tiny homes.
Philly residents have been doing battle with the Philadelphia Sanitation Department throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, and trash collection is finally starting to get back on track. Trash had been piling up on curbs all throughout city streets, especially in the suburbs, due to lack of staff, poor weather, and an overwhelming amount of trash to collect. In response, the Sanitation Department has unveiled a new initiative, Curb Your Waste. The department is offering residents tips on how to cut down their waste until trash collection gets back up and running. By limiting bulk waste items each week, keeping trash to under 40 pounds, and other ideas such as composting, the department thinks it can get the situation under control in a few weeks.
A homeless encampment has become a point of controversy in the city. Built this past June, there are currently upwards of 150 people living in the encampment, positioned along the Ben Franklin Parkway. It started as a protest in an effort to support homeless rights, as well as the Black Lives Matter and defunding the police movements. The city has given the group many ultimatums to leave the area by a certain date, most recently August 18th, although little enforcement on part of the city has occurred. In a statement, Mayor Jim Kenney has said, quote, "After weeks of face-to-face discussions and after more than 2 months of concerted efforts by our administration, I have come to the conclusion that further negotiations would be fruitless." Everyone, we're going to stay on the topic of Philadelphia, but go across the pond to London, where I had the opportunity to interview the owner of a Philly pub while I was studying abroad. Check it out. If you're a Philadelphian and find yourself in London and you're looking for a taste of home, look no further than the Passyunk Avenue Pub. Let's take a step inside and see what this place is all about. As you step inside, you are immediately transported to Philadelphia. All kinds of Philly memorabilia hangs from the walls and ceiling. Owner J.P. Teddy explains how this came about.
It was born out of my assessment that the American food scene in London wasn't very good, wasn't very accurate, and wasn't very authentic. And I thought that if we could create a concept that sort of accurately and truthfully represented, I think, a particular form of regional ethnic Americana, I think my thought was it would resonate.
It did resonate. The establishment opened its doors in March of 2018 and has drawn crowds from Philly and London, especially on sports nights. Everyone coming for a taste of Philly.
Obviously headlined by the cheesesteak. We're really well known for our cheesesteaks, but we do hoagies as well, which have been very popular. We do chicken parms. We do cannolis. We do roast pork, which is another very popular one. So we've tried to incorporate a lot of the stuff that we really like eating when we're back home.
Perhaps the most iconic area to be in the pub is the Nick Foles Bar. JP explains how this came to be.
So the Nick Foles Bar came about because we opened this place just after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So we opened this place in March 2018. Like all loyal Philadelphia fans, championship deprived, and that experience of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl was one of the highlights of my life, and particularly the way they did it with the cast of characters they did it with, and the way Nick Foles played as a real underdog, a real Philadelphia story, and we just thought he's going to be a legend in Philadelphia for the rest of all of our lives, and till the end of time, really.
Support from the city of Philadelphia has been enormous. All of the memorabilia on the walls has been donated, and many Philly celebrities have even stopped by on their visit to London.
Let's be very, very clear. The support that we've had from Philadelphia has been awe-inspiring, overwhelming, emotional. It's been really, really amazing, the support that we've had from back home. We've had everyone from the mayor here to Philadelphia Eagles here. The Philadelphia Eagles came and brought the Super Bowl trophy. We had Brent Selleck carry the Super Bowl trophy in. We've had Jay Wright, Villanova's basketball coach, come through last autumn. We had Tom McCarthy, the Phillies announcer, come through. We've had loads of Philly personalities come through. And I'll tell you, it's meant a lot. It's meant a lot to us to know that we have that support back home. We're always getting people from back in Philly checking in on us, make sure we're doing okay. We're always getting parcels of stuff from Philadelphia. Everything you see around you pretty much has been donated.
The pub and its connection to the city of brotherly love hopes to reach people who are not from the city or the U.S.
We hope that particularly people who aren't from Philadelphia or aren't from America for that matter, and there's a lot of them who come in here. A lot of American curious people, we say, aspirational American follower type people. We really hope they experience something they hadn't really considered before. A lot of people think of America and they think about America in sort of broad strokes, and it doesn't really occur to them that America is like many other countries or regions of the world. It's very regional, it's very ethnic, it's very local, and there's a lot of pride attached to that. And so what we hope people, particularly those people who aren't from America, come and understand is, wow, I've never considered the city of Philadelphia before, but what an interesting place. Right?
This iconic pub continues to be a destination for not only locals, but Philadelphians. Eating a Philly cheesesteak over 3,000 miles away from the city of brotherly love. Justin Geck, LaSalle TV News, London.
President Donald Trump paid tribute to the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, by announcing he will grant a pardon to noted suffragist Susan B. Anthony. Anthony has never been pardoned since her widely publicized 1872 arrest in Rochester, New York, for voting illegally after encouraging other women to register to vote and actually cast a ballot. Despite the importance of the centennial celebration, activists note that women in 2020 still face inequality, racism, sexism, and other barriers preventing them from exercising their constitutional right to vote.
Belarus remains in a state of turmoil as pro-democracy protests, the largest in the country's history, continue to rock the Eastern European nation. Thousands of demonstrators have taken to the streets following the disputed August 9th re-election of President Alexander Lukashenko, an election many say was rigged in the president's favor. Lukashenko is running for a sixth term and has served at the top of the Belarusian government for 26 years. Protesters have been met by a violent government response as online videos show security officers beating and torturing individuals both on the streets and in detention centers. Reports say upwards of 7,000 people have been arrested. As Belarusians continue to protest, strikes have popped up across the country, and members of the military have voiced resistance to the government's treatment of demonstrators. Russia, Belarus's closest ally in the region, has stepped in and warned other European nations not to intervene in Belarus's domestic affairs.
The United States Postal Service has recently found itself in political hot water. The controversy began in May when the House of Representatives passed a $3 million coronavirus relief package, which included relief funds for the post office. The package also included funding for expanded mail-in voting services given the COVID-19 pandemic, which has become a point of contention with certain Republican lawmakers. The USPS has warned that without additional support, it may not be able to meet deadlines for delivering voting ballots for the upcoming general election. This could have a major implications for the thousands of Americans who are expected to cast their vote by mail in an effort to protect their health. President Trump has long attacked the post office, writing in a tweet this past July, quote, "Postal voting will lead the most corrupt election in our nation's history." In recent weeks, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, a noted GOP fundraiser, has banned postal workers from working overtime or making extra trips to deliver mail on time. Efforts, many say, will imperil the November election. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has called the House back from its summer recess and has ordered DeJoy to testify before committee hearings to be held the week of August 24th.
On September 2nd, the United States will remember the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II in Japan. To celebrate the anniversary, veterans of the war from all over the world are being honored. Currently, there are 300,000 veterans still living out of the 12 million who served decades ago. With the veterans' average age sitting at between 90 and 100 years old, many would risk their health and safety should they leave their homes during the COVID-19 pandemic. In response, many celebrations and events have been canceled, but the memory of the war will continue to live on in the hearts of Americans.
Turning to political news, on Tuesday, August 11th, Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Joe Biden finally announced his decision on who would be his vice presidential pick. California Senator and former presidential candidate Kamala Harris made it to the final selection. Harris, if elected as vice president, will not only be the first female to hold this position, but she will be the first woman of color to be nominated for national office by a political party. The next day, Biden and Harris held a joint press conference to make remarks. Harris said she is ready to get to work. This week, the Democratic National Convention took place virtually for the first time in its history. Each night, different veteran and new Democratic Party members made speeches supporting Biden, and the main takeaway each person stressed was to get out and vote. Former 2016 Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton gave her support for Joe Biden and warned Americans, saying, "Remember, Joe and Kamala can win by 3 million votes and still lose. Take it from me." Former President Barack Obama made the case for his friend and former vice president on one of the final nights, stating that empathy, that decency, the belief that everyone counts, that's who Joe is. Following President Obama, Kamala Harris gave her acceptance speech, stating, "We believe that our country, all of us, will stand together for a better future. We already are." Perhaps the most anticipated speech was the final day of the convention as Joe Biden accepted the nomination for President of the United States. Biden's speech covered a wide variety of issues concerning our country. He talked about loss and family, Kamala Harris, and attacked Donald Trump. Biden concluded saying, "May history be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight as love and hope and light joined in the battle for the soul of this nation." This week, the Republican convention will take place and will be similar to the DNC. A whole lineup of speakers is set, and of course, the renomination of President Trump and Vice President Pence. Nick, Aaron, this is politically significant that Biden picked Kamala Harris. You know, she was a U.S. Senator, an Attorney General, and she also was a lawyer. But also on a personal level, she was friends with Beau Biden, Joe Biden's son, who passed away. So this was pretty much a guaranteed pick. You know, we saw in the Democratic, standoffs that Kamala and Joe did go head to head at some of the debates they had, but ultimately the choice was definitely Kamala Harris. I know she made it to the last round of, final choices, and the buzz was it would be Kamala. Now, the DNC did a very good job despite being virtually online this whole convention time. I think everyone really had made their point. And, I think it'll be interesting to see what the Republicans will do coming up this week in their convention. What are you guys, speaking of voting, are you all planning to, I hope, get out and vote this November?
Yeah,
I'm definitely voting.
This is the first election that I'm 18 of voting age for, so I actually registered to vote online last night. So everybody, don't forget to register to vote. Everybody's voice can make a difference.
Yeah. I wholeheartily agree, and I will be voting on election day, actually voting by mail. I live in Jersey, and we're doing a fully mail-in election. But something that, Justin, you had mentioned about the primary, or about Kamala Harris and her primary challenge with Biden, something that we did see in the DNC convention. Of course, we saw, Secretary Clinton speak, former President Bill Clinton, Michelle Obama, former President Obama, but we also saw endorsements from all of the main primary challengers. So the Democratic Party is looking quite unified as we enter into the general cycle. It remains to be seen what next week's RNC convention holds. I think that it'll be interesting. Reports are saying that President Trump will present his acceptance speech from the White House. So we are going to see a whole week of the RNC convention and kind of comparing that to the DNC moving into the general.
That does it for this episode of LTV News. Keep up with our continuing coverage and the entire LaSalle TV network online through our LaSalle TV YouTube page.
Until next time, for Sam Long, Aaron Holly, and Justin Gick, I'm Nick Palayo. Thanks for tuning in. Be well, stay healthy, and please wear a mask.